Hunt, RunRx. Welcome to Ask Me Anything Live on Wednesdays. So since today's the day before Thanksgiving, I thought it would be fun to give you guys a tip for running in case you're doing like a turkey trot or some kind of holiday run. So I set this up, I'm going to show you guys something. So I've had a few people go through, and it's still on, by the way. We're going to leave it up on the YouTube channel. We've got the free 30-day RunRx reboot, and whether you're just getting back into running, you want to just improve on your running, want to know what I'm talking about, go through it. It's on YouTube, RunRx. And one of the biggest feedbacks that I've been getting from people, which is so nice, is, wow, I'm really starting to feel the effects of adding the skill training to my run. However, I'm getting a lot of people that are sore in their calves. Calf soreness is one. Either I'm running too fast or it's hard to maintain my cadence is another feedback I'm getting. So I want to just give you guys a little tip today. So the reason I set this up is to talk about the height of your pull. So when you're running and you're out there running, so I'm hoping that right now your thought when you go running, what's your thought? What am I doing when I go running? Well, most people are thinking about how far they're going to run, the distance they're going to run, the pace they're going to run, maybe what shoes they're going to wear. I want you to think about, where am I falling to? That's it. And just in this moment. So we're always pulling to recover the running pose. So this is the running pose. It's also known as the figure 4. And in this running pose, this is the optimal pose for my body to be in balance. So right now, see, I'm in balance. So then gravity acts on my center. So I free fall out of balance, and I simply pull my foot to recover that same great running pose again, so that as long as I continue to pull and then hold that angle of fall, I can run at that pace. That's simply it. So when people say, well, what is sprinting versus jogging? Well, sprinting is holding a fall angle that looks something like this, which is nice, whereas maybe jogging would be a fall angle like this. But all of us have the same ability to use gravity. So whether sprinting, whatever you want to say is running, it's simply on you to pull your foot up. Because what brings the lifted foot down? Gravity. So I get to work with gravity in 2 ways when I run. 1, allow it to initiate forward movement, and 2, allow it to let the other foot drop. So I love to play this little game with people. I've got this line right here that I'm going to stand on. So you can just stand in balance, but if you have a line you can stand on, it really works nice. So we're in our running pose. You're going to simply pull your foot up from the ground and do nothing else. Ready? 3, 2, 1, pull. See? And the other foot dropped. Gravity did that all by itself. You don't have to ask it to do it. It does it very nicely on its own. So you look down and you check, am I on that line? And if you are, great. If you're not, move your foot to get on it. So you can feel right now your whole foot should be touching the ground. My whole foot touches the ground. Where's your body weight? That's the question. It's on the ball of the foot. Is my heel touching? Yes. Are my toes touching? Yes. However, they're not holding my body weight. My body weight is on the ball of my foot. And that's why I can hop. Because if my body weight was on my heel, hold on, it's really awkward and there's no elasticity. And then toes is a misnomer. Because if I was really on my toes, I'd be a ballerina. Even if you're like this, high up on the forefoot, you're still on the forefoot. So that's the ball of the foot. So once you kind of are okay with that, body weight's on the ball of the foot, don't worry about anything else. You don't have to worry about anything but what? Pulling. Pull, 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 pull. And no matter how fast you pull, gravity will win. It will bring the other foot down quick, faster than you. So you have to just stay prepared to pull. So here's the most important thing I want to talk about today. When you practice pull, it's full pull. This is called an active pull, and we're using the hamstring. The hamstring pulls the foot up from the ground. We use muscle elasticity, and then the hamstring reflex finishes the pull. We actually, and this is pretty high, but it's going to work for today. I'm going to show you that in place, you pull all the way, but in running, that's it. You simply want to break contact with the ground. So here's a great little tip you can try in your warm-up. You can try it anytime, but try it in your warm-up before you run. So you could actually stand next to like a curb would work really well. So something that's right around ankle height, and stand in a really low pose. So I still have my foot lifted from the ground. And then if I had a metronome, I'd set it to 180, just to use muscle elasticity. And then watch. Up, 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 up. You see, I only ever have to pull my foot up from the ground. I don't have to do the rest during my run. However, I'm not traveling right now, I'm not going anywhere. So what happens when I start to travel? Okay, so I'll start here and then I'll start traveling. I know I don't have a lot of space, but it'll still be pretty obvious. So here I am doing my job of pulling. So I'm doing my job. Now I want to travel, so I'm going to fall. What happened to the height of my pull? I didn't add any extra work. I stayed right here, up, 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 just pulling my foot. But as my body started to fall, my hamstring sensed that, and it just finished the pull. It brings the foot from here. When you're done with your pull, the hamstring reflex goes close, bring it to under hip. Right when it gets here, it lets go. It just drops. So you've got to be ready to what? Pull. That's your job. So this is a fun way to practice, just pulling in place. Everything's relaxed. I simply have to do nothing but pull my foot up, leave my knees bent, hold shoulders over hips, and then fall to travel. By the way, guys, that is where the challenge comes in. Because falling is not an action. It's not something you can do with your muscles. It's not something you can control. You have to allow it, right? So I talk a lot about in the first practice, if you did the reboot, that falling is simply allowing yourself to jump in, because gravity's already acting. It's already happening. So free falling is just simply you allowing your body to fall. And in running, it's allowing your body to fall, holding the running pose. Like, I don't want to just trip and fall. I want to have a purpose to it, right? All right, so let's finish with a little bit of fun. If you have a wall nearby, grab it. It works really well with this drill, or you can just do it without a wall. But what I'd like to see is, if you have one, simply you're going to get in the running pose, you're going to fall, pull, and you see how I actually could sense that I was falling by stopping myself before I hit the wall. Always a good idea. So if I have no wall, I have to simulate a wall. It's okay, same thing. It's just fall and pull, and sense that I'm right back in that running pose. Remember, it's a figure four, if you think about it. Hamstring pulls the foot. This foot's relaxed. Where's your body weight? Follow the foot. Where do you fall from? Center. Fall as a whole unit. You pivot over the foot. Woo! And then pull. And ideally, if you allow yourself to pull, the lifted foot will drop and pull right back up. So challenge yourself to that. Try a single, just one. Fall, pull. Now see if you can hold the fall a little bit longer and feel what happens. So if you fall and you pull, what should happen is your lifted foot drops, and that combination of gravity, ground reaction force, and muscle elasticity work together. You did almost nothing, right? I mean, it should have felt like I was worried so much about this foot, I didn't even feel this foot just pop right up. The fun part is, guys, I'll finish with this. You already have muscle elasticity, so it's not like having the fast twitch or slow twitch muscle fibers. You know, my sprinter, my endurance athlete, you probably already know. Muscle elasticity is simple to develop and, of course, fun to use. So adding some hops, really easy. You can just keep it simple, right? Just like I showed you in the reboot, hops develop elasticity. And yeah, absolutely, you can jump, you can do jump rope, you can take it wherever you want. But keeping that basic hop in allows you to develop the muscle elasticity you need so that when you're running, you'll have a quicker pull response. Not working more, working less. So if I'm running and I feel my calves or I feel my hamstring, hips, shins, if I feel joints or muscles, it's fatigue, right? What do we want to feel when we run? Winded, cardio. So these are thoughts to have while you're running. I'm gonna just come over and say hi. Since I've been leaning forward, I went a little bit faster. Okay. Okay, I'll answer. That's a great question. I actually said that at the beginning. So the question was, now that I've added that fall, I'm running faster. Yes. And actually your body appreciates it, but I know in the beginning it's a little bit like, wait, I cannot maintain this pace. So remember, there is an adaptation. What's important is to remember that the nice part is it's probably about a month. So what you want to do, instead of thinking, let's think about it like this. When you introduce yourself to something new, you should introduce it and then play with it a little bit. Introduce it to your body, introduce it to yourself, and then take it out for a little bit more the next time. And then maybe a little bit more the next time. So what happens in the beginning is I've never fallen before, right? Maybe you've been reaching or pushing or simply just not using the fall, but using a lot of active muscle, right? So all of a sudden I start to fall and my body's like, whoa. So then your heart rate goes up and you feel soreness in different spots because I've not done this before. So instead of thinking like, what's my pace when I run? Throw that out the window, at least while you're learning, and think more, what fall angle can I hold? And so what will happen in the beginning, when you go too fast, and then I simply can't maintain that, just stop a second and reset. That's the best. So I'm running, I'm like, whew! You could pause in place, right? Pause in place, find that same cadence, and then reset with the fall. For a lot of us, when we first start to fall, we don't feel the fall until we're falling like at an Olympic level. And we need to be falling like at our level. So in the beginning, we don't feel till it's a really excessive. So, and in all the drills, I'm trying to help you feel how quick the pull is, but the reality is your legs will separate in flight. So there's a lot more going on when you start to fall because you're connecting more with what running is. And in the beginning, a lot of you guys are running, like I said, with action. Like you have the potential to run at a faster pace than you currently are. You're just expending that energy, you doing things like, whew, trying to pull higher or pump your arms or things like that. And now all of a sudden you start letting that go. You start to feel a lot more work happening where it should be in the cardio. But just like anything else, you will adapt. And then all of a sudden you'll find that, oh, wow, that running pace that I had now feels really nice. And I could probably go at a higher pace simply because I'm understanding that if I take my body weight away, I'm only pulling 2% of my body weight. So now instead of feeling my work in my legs, I'm feeling it here. So allow that adaptation. Instead of trying to run miles in your new form, go out and run for time. Go run for 30 minutes. And try a drill, try running a little. Try a drill, try running a little. And if you have to stop and reset, I promise it will not alter your fitness. Stop for a second, do a few hops. Remember, shoulders over hips. A lot of times we think we're falling and we'll start to do this. And you feel like you're falling, but you're actually just bending. So really take that time to practice that part of the fall and then have fun with it. Be okay with running a little faster. That's the fun of running. So I'm gonna let you guys go. Thank you so much for asking the question. Have fun, treat it like an interval workout, and soon you control the fall. So very soon when you run, you decide basically how much you want to suffer in that round. How much fall do I want to hold? Or can I hold today is another way to say it. Is it good to have a small stride and high cadence? I've been recovering from stress fracture on my shin. Yes. Okay, so that's a great, so sorry to hear about your stress fracture. Here's the thing, when you're recovering, when you recover and you work on your skill practice, you'll just recover stronger. So there's a good thing. So the first thing I want you to get rid of is any thought of stride. So let's think more about cadence. And the cadence is how quick am I pulling my foot up from the ground. So the quicker I pull my foot up from the ground, the better. That means it's been on the ground less time. However, please make sure that that It's not the same as asking you to run at a higher speed. So the 180, for example, most runners are like at 160 to 165. I was when I first started doing this. So the reason many of us suffer stress fractures, shin splints, plantar fasciitis, knee injuries, hips, whatever, is because we put our foot on the ground and then we press into the ground to then extend this other foot. So we've been running by push, reach, even if it's not a heel strike, it doesn't matter. It's the intent. We want to push off the ground and extend. That's what I was taught. That's what most of us are taught. So when you run, it feels really powerful. But the problem is, it's just pushing. Stride length is a byproduct in your run. Stride length is the distance from one pose, fall, to the next pose. But if I'm staying on the ground, so if I jump or reach and extend, I think, wow, that's a big stride length. Yeah, but I'm on the ground, so who cares? This happens in flight, this extension. So instead of thinking small steps, what do you want to think about? Quick pulls. Start thinking about your movement as it's intended. When I run, I want to pull my foot up from the ground. I would like to be in flight, not jumping at all. Why? My body's falling which direction? Forward, and my foot pulls up in response. When you start to recover from your stress fracture, you've got to change how you think about running. So when you go out for your run, you can be happy to start with small movement, but it's because you're falling a little bit, only as much as your leg will let you, but still pulling up, 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 up. Start changing that thought process, and not only will you recover, but as you get stronger, you will fall at a higher angle, and that stride frequency will pick up, your stride length will increase, but all that will just be byproducts of you focusing on your fall and your pull. So that's the important thing on recovery. And I hope that helps. Yes, absolutely. I tell you, and especially guys, that's the last thing, because I'm all about, run pain-free, because I have had those things. I've had stress fractures, I've had plantars, but not in years and years. And so much of it was not realizing that I was doing these things. I never went out for a run ever once and thought, hey, I'm going to go reach for the ground. Never. I mean, that wasn't my thought. So, but when I changed my thought to where am I falling to, I control myself, and you can get strong. How? Especially if I cannot run right now, but I can support myself. If I can at least stand, strengthen your support, strengthen your pose. This is the only place you want to be on the ground. So you start by just that day one on the reboot. Strengthen your ability to hold your running pose, your ability to sense, perceive falling, work on pulling. It's so simple that when you run, it just becomes your natural run. That's the best part about it. All right, guys, happy Thanksgiving. I hope you have a great holiday. Please keep asking questions. Like I said, I'll be here every Wednesday. You can go to the YouTube channel and get on that 30-day free RunRx reboot. It's great to go through it and just get great ideas for skills, strength, and self-care. And of course, the next step is always to go, let me see your run. If you're really ready to want to run pain-free, we've got the RunRx Strong membership. So that's runrxonline.com. Or simply, another fun thing is we have the quiz. So if you're wondering, I wonder if I reach in my run. By the way, when I first came into learning running, I was reaching and pushing, double fun. So take the quiz, that's also free on the site, and you can kind of see if that's what you're doing and get some feedback on it. So anyway, lots of great ways to get started on running pain-free, and I'm always here on Wednesdays. So ask questions, you can always comment, and I look forward to talking to you guys. Have a great holiday. Thank you.